8th of October 2022. This isn't financial advice. This is an online journal for me to help improve my trading. So, actually had a pretty good week. This is Digi. So, I just closed the trade today, actually kind of against my wishes, but I'm just going to do a quick recap. So, I bought options. So, I bought on the 29th, which is this day here. I bought December 2022 $35 options, and that cost me $2.30. So I've noted in the previous video, I'm going to really try and sort of really focus on options because it just gives me a lot of exposure without taking on too much risk. Now, the problem I've had with stop losses, I'm getting stopped at the wrong time, and I don't even know if I've got the mentality to be able to have sort of big positions on overnight when I'm sleeping outside of US time, and to wake up and not know what you're going to get. So anyway, I digress. So I bought the options on that day. Point being, look how good this chart is. Nice long base, viable gap up day here. Didn't hold that, did have a pullback, but equally against a really incredibly bad market. So this thing's just held up like it's just a super champ. So tagged the 50-day here. Had a big push out when the market sort of had a few good days this week. And then, to tell you the truth, I was going to get a bit hopeful. We might have some sort of, rally. We have like a seasonal sort of move now from October to January. Everything was so oversold. Had a pullback today. Actually, not much, to tell you the truth. Any other time, I would have just held this, and maybe I should have just held this. But we'll get to the market in a moment. The market's just rolling over, and like anything could happen. So I thought, you know what, I've had a run where I really haven't made any money, so I'm just going to lock in a decent gain. So I sold those options today for $4.20, made 82%, I think it was, on that. So honestly, really good for a short period of time because it's just a really tough market. Any other market, I would have been holding this and been looking for a home run, like a 5-bagger plus on the options here. But anyway, I still might buy. Just say, for example, it just has a bit of a pullback here. Maybe the market stabilizes a bit. We might have another go. But anyway, let's see. Really happy with this trade. I've analyzed it well. One thing I'm going to note is I can't see anyone on the sort of Twitter group of sort of momentum traders who are talking about this. They'll be on the Swab or Celsius or Enphase, that sort of stuff. No one's been talking about this. So, but look at the chart, how good it is. So that's, that's honestly telling me, I think people are actually really copying each other a lot. They might even not know it, but I think they are. Even looking at the financials on this, these are the sales, like strong sales growth, increasing sales, earnings is following suit. I just don't see what's not to like about this chart. So super happy I found this one independently, traded it on my own analysis, and I'd suggest that, if anyone's listening to this, do the same. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anyone for tips or anything like that. Do your own analysis and live and die by the sword on that, and analyze on what your analysis was saying. So otherwise, you just have all these opinions out there. You just end up following people into the stock. So if you look at, if I just digress for a second. So the problem I'm seeing, there's a lot of people talking about the stock around here, and there was obviously lots of like about it. But the problem is, I think what's happening is, this is just speculation, but Twitter, historically the idea being that retail investors can't really sort of move the market with following institutions, and I wonder if that's so much the case these days because Twitter has done social media's done a marvelous job at marshalling opinions, might be on politics or whatever, and I see no reason why it's not doing the same on stocks. So you get one or two sort of big names on Twitter sort of talking about this momentum stock, and all these other people are following in, all these services are following in, and before you know it, imagine how many stop losses are sort of set in here, and then I just wonder if this is sort of the foundation laid for this stock to not perform, at least in the short term, until it shakes out all these people. I don't know, it's sort of speculation, but that's what I'm sort of increasingly starting to wonder. Like, just in general, you don't really want to be in something where everyone else is in anyway, so because that just becomes a crowded trade. Anyway, that's DG. The other stock I want to have a look at is Tesla. Now, this is on the weekly chart. I just want to stand back and have a look at it. Long base one here, pushed out on that Bible gap up here late 2019. We all know that. And same again in 2020. And it just had the monster of monster runs, 10 bagger plus. So it's started to, well, it sort of peaked here. Sorry, obviously it peaked here, but it's basically been in this base since for quite some time now. So what's that? The beginning of 2021. So yeah, stage one, stage two. What stage is this? I think honestly, it's looking more and more like a stage three to me. At the very best, if it's going to be a stage two, it's in this really long, sloppy sort of base here. So the bulls are going to have to be patient, I think. But tried to push out here, failed, tried again, failed. Now these long-term moving averages sort of turned into resistance. So you can kind of see it just rolling over beautifully there. So I think it's much more closer to a stage three and potentially going into a stage four. Again, it just had this huge run here. So we'll get to the market in a sec, but the market's looking weak. This is like one of the last to be holding up sort of properly. But that's increasingly looking shaky to me. I mean, also, just in general, I'm seeing a lot more Teslas on the road these days. A lot more people are talking about. So at some point, the EV adoption and everything. I've got a Tesla, so and I love it. But at some point, this becomes a fairly sort of obvious trade here. So, and I wonder if we're sort of getting to that point. I could be totally wrong. Like I was on the inflation and things like interest rates sort of rolling over, and it could just go up. But that's just analysing what I'm seeing here. I don't see a great reason to be bullish. I mean, also just as a joke that they pulled out that robot on their AI day. I mean, it just looked horrific. And of course, the bulls were saying, how amazing is it? But I don't know. We'll see. I'm a little bit skeptical. Anyway, like I say, I've got a Tesla fan, but in terms of the stock price, stock trade, I'm not. I just don't see it at the moment. I just want to finish. Just a quick note on the Nasdaq. Let's just go to the daily. Actually, even look at that on the weekly. Go back to weekly. Sort of just these thrust down, pull back, thrust down, sort of pull back. And on the daily as well, and I had this sort of big few days here. They just stalled and just rolled straight back over. Yeah, maybe we're in a sort of a stage one here, but look, every moving average is pointing down at the moment. Yeah, look, honestly, this is stating obvious, but anything could happen at this rate. So, which is a shame because that DG I would have liked to hold, but there's so many failed stocks out there that you're sort of swimming against the tide. I feel at the moment. So yeah, I'm just going to play it safe. Happy with that. One final thing, I'm been buying some longer dated options in a stock that I'm not going to say the name of it because I'm still buying options in it. But what sort of helped me into this stock was a famous investor has been in there. It's gone through a bit of a pullback. Is the more I'm looking at these sort of Bible gap up studies, I think there's sort of two bows to it. They can trade a short-term momentum burst, but also a stock that's coming out of a nice long base, big earnings beat, everything's looking amazing, there's a very high chance you have that initial momentum burst, then it may not pull back after that. But then quite often what can happen, say for the next 9 to 12 months after that, and certainly not in linear fashion, but you can have stocks that will turn into just a monster from there. So, I want to get myself positioned for those. I'm still working through that study I've been talking about, but yeah, one stock sort of actually just came under my radar. I've been slowly trying to buy options, longer dated options on that. It's a very thin market. So anyway, I'll update the BGII study and hopefully that stock in the coming weeks.